But welcome everyone to Trading Psychology. And this is class number 4. We are in class number 4. All the classes are being recorded, so you will have them at your disposal whenever we are finished, and you'll have them forever. So, this is not something that's just a one-time deal. You'll have these to access and to go back through the videos if you so wish. And I'll be sending out the recording for this one tomorrow to you guys, along with just a little follow-up email. Oh, and David Pilgrim says, hi all and happy Thursday evening. Yes, sir, David. Thanks for being here, man. Glad you're here. Yeah, so class number 4, let me pull up the slides and let's get ready to dive in. Let me pull this up. I got so many tabs open. Anybody do that? Have just like tons of tabs on their computer? Because I'm one of those people, and I don't want to close them because I don't want to lose what I'm working on all the time. Rajon, what's going on, Rajon? Good to see you. All right, let me. David says I need that tab. Nice. All right, here we go. Let me share. And Trading Psychology, class number 4, Mastering the Mind of Wealth. Courage pays better than fear. You all know who I am. Let's dive in here. The outcomes for our course. We're developing systems so at the end of this that you have a fully built out plan to head into 2026 to guide your trading. We've been reflecting on your beliefs about money, wins, losses. Well, actually, wins, we haven't done that, but we're going to get into that tonight. We went over tools to track and manage your progress. So you have those at your disposal to now use. You've gone through really a lot in your psychology, your discipline to help you continue your growth as a trader. And ultimately, it's going to lead to your personalized system that you'll have in place. And hard to believe, but we are right here and we only have one class remaining that will be next week. So we will be wrapping up on the 11th, which I believe is Thursday of next week, and we'll be finished. And tonight, you can see that we are covering the psychology of a winning trade, and we're going to go through the emotions of winning, talk about what does it mean to win in a trade, what it means to you. So we're going to get into those beliefs surrounding that, how you react to a win, how you can maximize your winners. Can you lose a winner? And I'm going to give you some strategies to maximize your wins and teach you how to become a grateful winner. And then on the final session, which will be next week, we're going to bring it all together, review everything that we've covered. But before we do that, we're going to look at your trading routine, the importance of just having a systematic process that you follow so that you're doing the same thing so that you can recreate your results consistently. All right, so let's begin by talking about your winners. So I just want to take a second here and ask you guys, tell me about one of the most recent winning trades that you have and what that experience was like. If you just want to throw that in the chat, how did you feel? Or maybe it's your best winner that you ever had. Anybody willing to share that? I'm pausing, providing the wait time. Euphoria. Euphoria. Yes, we feel good. We feel like, man, this is amazing to see the money just flowing into your account from a trade. What else? What else you guys have? What have you experienced from a winning trade? What emotion, what feeling, what thoughts? Happy I followed my plan, but I always have to act like you've been there attitude. Yeah. Like Barry Sanders. When he played for the Lions, when he scored a touchdown, he would just hand the ball to the referee. Yeah. That's important too. And that's going to hit on a concept that I'm going to talk about here later on with winning because when we're winning, we have to be on guard against overconfidence because, and I always say this, and I always tell myself when I'm on a hot streak, and I was on a pretty hot streak from May into really September, and I kept telling myself, these streaks don't last. Be ready, head on a swivel, because it's when you think that you're invincible that the market reminds you, I'm the one in charge here. So we'll talk about that. So when we think about winners and the process that they follow, sure, it would be nice if it just looked like this, right? If you get into a trade and it just runs right to target. And sometimes that will happen, but that is a rare occurrence. That doesn't happen all the time. And when, if you have that belief that, trades just go straight up, if you're trading bullish and it doesn't, that it's not a good trade. But that's just not realistic. And in fact, winning trades follow a pattern like this, where it moves up, it retraces. You're experiencing, oh man, this was a bad idea. Then it moves up again, then it retraces again, moves up again, retraces, and it's not linear. A winner is not linear. It's not always going to be this. These are rare trades, but these are more of your typical types of winning trades where you have to be willing to sit through those pullbacks, through those retracements on the way to it hitting your target. And so, sure, it'd be nice if everyone went straight up, but then, uh, it just wouldn't be real, right? So we have to know and understand that trades are going to follow a kind of a funky path, all right? So what I want to do now is similar to what we've done in previous classes is begin to talk about the emotions of winning. And we are going to uh, journal again. So again, have your notebook ready. I have to actually grab my pen. And what we're going to do, we'll take a few minutes to do this, is I'm asking you to answer these following questions. What does a winning trade mean to you? Define this, okay, in your own terminology, not what you think I want to hear or how someone else would describe it. And then what emotions do you experience when you win a trade? Write those down. And then, even if you didn't share this in your what I asked in the beginning, but describe your most recent emotional experience, mindset following a winning trade. And if you haven't had a recent winning trade, that's fine. Go back to one where, or maybe your biggest winner, and just reflect on that and write it down. Okay. So we're gonna take about 2 minutes. Probably gonna have to run and go grab my pen. Oh, no, here it is. Yay. All right. Oh, I almost knocked it from my computer in the process. But we're going to take 2 minutes and we're going to write this down. And then I'm going to ask you guys to share. I will share with you. I will start, but I'm going to hit 2 minutes and get ready, go. Get about 50 seconds. 15 seconds. All right, my pen is down. Five, four, three, two, and one. All right. So hopefully that stirred up some thinking from you guys. And so let's just go through here. We'll start with the first one. What does a winning trade mean to you? Define this. And so just go ahead and give me your responses here in the chat. The market went my way, thankfully. All right, so we have the element of gratitude here from David. Awesome. What else do we have? I'll wait to share mine because I don't want to shape your responses. Let's see what else you guys have. What does winning a trade mean to you? Paul says, confirms my analysis. Yes. You get that confidence that what you identified on the chart was accurate and it came to fruition. Rajon, my strategy is working, right? So the effectiveness of your strategy to produce the result that you were seeking in the trade. Great. I'm getting closer to my goals. Yeah, when you every winning trade that you make, you're moving closer to the targets that you have established for yourself. Now, how about this second one? What emotions do you experience when you win a trade? What emotions do you experience when you win a trade? There's no right or wrong answers here, guys. And I am not judging your responses. Nobody here is judging your responses. It's just to share. So we got Paul says excitement, happiness, feeling happy. David, a pat on the back, right? Happy but relieved, all right? Because there's that element of tension when you're in a trade. Is it going to work out? And when it does, all right, proud of myself. Yeah, right? All positive emotions. And contrast those with what we talked about last time when we were discussing the emotions of losing, right? Very different. Now, describe your most recent emotional experience, mindset following a winning trade. Go ahead and just put that in the chat. Your most recent emotional experience, mindset following a winning trade. If you haven't taken a real trade yet, paper trade, if you or think back on a big winner that's happened in the past, it doesn't have to be recent if you can't think of one. But what was your most recent emotional experience or mindset in a winning trade? Anyone? I'll share mine. Feeling optimistic in a positive state. It's something that just gives me a jolt for the rest of the day, right? This week has been pretty steady, pretty consistent for me. Confirms what I'm seeing on the charts, gives confidence, gives validation, um, and provides a sense of optimism. So those are things that would characterize a most recent emotional experience that I had. How about you guys? What do you have? Your most recent win? Nobody? You guys haven't had any recent wins or haven't had a big winner that mindset that came along with it or how you felt that day or the days after? You got to have something. All right, grateful. All right, Justin says grateful. All right, key, important. That's important. That appreciation that David referenced. And again, it's important to think about this because it's not just the losing side of it, but we also have to be able to manage our emotions when we're winning. Like that's still all part of the discipline piece. And then Justin says, glad to see all the hours of studying paying off, right? So the work that you invest into this, seeing it translate into actual dollars. So all great responses. Thanks for sharing. All right, so the why. So I want you to think about this for a minute. So for the responses that you wrote down, what does a winning trade mean to you? Define this. Why do you believe that? Right? I want you to think about the why. And then the emotions that you experience from a winning trade. I want you to think about the why for that, right? So really dig deep and get under the layers as to why you are feeling that way. Again, this is all part of that psychology piece, the beliefs. And then lastly, with your most recent emotional experience or mindset following a winning trade, why? So we're focusing on the big why here, the underpinnings of these beliefs. Take 1 minute and I want you to think about the why, jot down a few things, and then again, I'm going to ask you guys to share. It's good for us to see how other people process this, what their why is. So let's take 1 minute, let's go through that, and we'll start now. Get about 10 seconds, and I'll go ahead and I'll start this one out. Um, and you don't have to give a why for all these, but for me, when I defined a winning trade for myself, it's did I profit off the trade? And it doesn't matter how much the profit is, doesn't matter if it's a full R profit. If I make anything from a trade, it could be a small amount. That's a win to me. That's the first part of it. But the second part is did I follow my plan? And that because losing is part of the process of trading, if we just exclusively go off the P&L, then if we hit a losing streak, then we're going to question our abilities. So for me, I'm always looking to see did I follow my plan? And that's something I can control. And looking at the why of that, behind that, why I have that definition is the market is binary. It's either yes or no. So the market's going to take care of the P&L piece. And it's either going to say I won or I lost. So I get that data from that, which I really don't have any control over other than setting up my strategy and executing the trade. But the part that I do have control over, and this is important, is did I follow my plan? And so it really gives two elements to the trade for me. And this is how I interpret it is the market will tell me whether or not I'm profitable if I won or lost. But from my own definition, if I followed my plan, then that was successful for me. So that's my why behind my definition. What did you guys come up with? I'm curious to hear. Don't be shy, and you don't have to type a ton in the chat, even just a few words. Paul says, "Good reflection of the work that I put in." Great, yeah. So, kind of following up off of what Justin wrote, glad to see all those hours of studying paying off. Good to see the reflection, the work that you put in. Financial security is the why for Ray Jean. Great, right? That's what we're looking to do here. David says it's rewarding. The why is it's rewarding, not only financially, but also that self-satisfaction that, hey, this thing that I'm working hard to do is providing results. And that validates what I'm attempting to do. Rewarding mentally. Yeah. There's a payoff there. Those are all great responses. And so, and then we have from Justin here showing me the possibility, give me motivation, right? Because everything is possible in the markets. And when you get a win, you see the power of what is possible in trading. So now, if you think about that, what is your primary belief about winning? We talked about what your definitions are, the emotions that you experience. We talked about the why behind those. But now what I want you to do is take that information and distill it down, simplify it into one statement that reflects what you believe about winning. Okay? So we're writing down our belief about winning. Whatever comes out of you, we're going to do one tweak on this here in a minute. Again, these exercises require you to think and to write. Let's take 1 minute for this, and I'm going to ask that everybody shares. I'm going to do this right along with you. Write out, and it says losing here. That should say winning. Write out your current belief about winning, and let's go 1 minute. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and write mine in. All right. I want to model for you guys. So you're typing, so I'm going to type mine. So again, my definition of winning is did I profit and did I follow my plan? Right? Or profiting and following my plan. So that is my definition. But for me, my belief is winning a trade, and I'm going to read this as I'm writing it. Winning a trade validates my effort, right? The work that I'm putting into this. It provides abundance financially and empowers me to live the life of freedom that I enjoy. So that is my belief about winning. And go ahead and share what you guys have. So David says, I'm grateful my work paid off and I followed my plan. Great. Again, we're seeing this come back to a lot of this coming back to the work that you're putting in to studying your trading and following your plan too. Because again, you're putting the work in. Part of that is creating your plan. If you're not following that plan, then even if you win a trade, sure, you're hitting that P&L, but those probably aren't sustainable habits, right? What else do you guys have? On the road to reaching my goals. So winning shows me that I'm on the road to reaching my goals. Rajon, winning shows me that I can trust my strategy and can reach my goals, right? So that validation, that confirmation, it gives us that belief in ourselves, not to overuse that word, but again, how different from a losing trade? Winning equals confidence, losing equals self-doubt. Paul says, builds confidence of a new skill for me to work toward life goals, right? So confidence is coming up, right? So a very unique contrast between those two parts of trading that are just it's the everyday component, right? It's the winning and losing. It's two sides of the story that we call the markets. All right, so that's outstanding. Now, we talked about this belief, and right now the belief is more than likely empowering for you. But is there a way that you can make it a bit stronger? Okay, so what I'm asking you to do is to think about how we could revise that belief to just add a little bit more strength or a little bit more power to it so that it's more inspiring, motivating, and just it gets you fired up when you read it again because we're going to add this to our graphic organizers that I shared with you at the outset of this course. But take that belief that you wrote, and I just want you to strengthen it. Add something in there that makes it a little bit more powerful. Or if there's something in there that is maybe negative or not as motivating, take it out and just make it stronger. Okay. So we're going to revise this belief to make it more empowering to enhance our trading. So again, let's take 1 minute for this. This is the last writing exercise that I'm going to have you guys do. Again, this is all important work. We'll take 1 minute, revise that belief, and make it more powerful. 1 minute starts now. All right. So that was 1 minute. And so the adjustment that I made to mine is I added something in there about helping others. And so winning provides confidence in my efforts, provides abundance, and empowers me to live the life of freedom and allows me to uplift others. So I made it just a little bit stronger and more powerful by adding that element of being able to help others as an outcome of winning a trade. So, what did you guys come up with by revising your beliefs, or what little tweak did you make to it to make it more empowering? Given the appropriate wait time here. Again, you don't have to type a lot. You could just maybe type in a component that you added to it to strengthen it. Paul says, I like yours, able to help others. Yeah, again, and when I was looking at mine, I'm like, all right, this is focused on me, but that gotta include that component of assisting others, right? So when we give, then we receive, and not that's not why we do it. We want to help others, um, but that's why I included that. Anybody else? All right. Well, uh, I'm not going to force you guys to type in there, but again, the whole purpose of this is to think about these things because if you don't make the time to stop and think about what does a winning trade mean to me? What emotions do I experience there? What's the why behind it? What's my belief? Let me revisit my belief and make it as strong as possible. If you don't make the time for that, you're never going to do it. And so the fact that you guys are here in this class and are taking those steps, you're you're well beyond what the majority of traders and investors out there are doing because they're not taking the time to do that. And I can confidently say that. They're focusing on the charts, but again, that psychology component, that discipline component is something that really just gets pushed to the side. So these exercises are critical in understanding yourself, understanding your mentality going into trading, and it's going to benefit you. Okay. So now you've thought deeply about that. And this leads me to a concept that I came up with called market humility. And I referenced this at the beginning of tonight's class, and we're going to get into strategies of maximizing your winners and just some best practices around winners. But market humility is something that's very important. And basically, it is never thinking that you are smarter than the market, that you have some magic power, or that you're never going to lose and that you can't lose. And that's why I referenced that win streak that I was on in the back of my mind, that I knew that, hey, when you have a streak like that, eventually it's going to come to an end. And we have to have the humility to say to ourselves, hey, I'm grateful that I am experiencing these winning trades, but I know that there will come a time when I'm going to lose. And so I have to be truly grateful for the experience of having these winners. And if you don't have that humility when it comes to the markets, you will find out very quickly that your wins are going to dissipate very, very fast, because the market punishes overconfidence. And that means, you're going on just because you're on a streak, you're going with too much size, or you're over trading. That's going to lead to disaster. So we always have to have that humble perspective when we're trading to make sure that we are not wrecking ourselves. David says, eaten alive. Yes, the market will chew you up and spit you out. That is 100% accurate. Yes. And so let's get into some perspectives and truths about winning and trading. And these are things that just other beliefs, or other things that we need to consider, different perspectives about winning that can help make us better traders and investors. And we talked about this when we were talking about losing trades as well. But every time you win, someone else loses, right? So just like when you lose, someone on the other side wins. But you have to be cognizant that your win is someone else's loss, because there's always someone on the other side of that trade. And so we have to be gracious and not get overconfident. That's that market humility piece. And the market will humble you. The other part is that one day, one trade, one candle can completely wipe out an entire year's worth of losses, right? We looked at that Oracle move that happened. So that's the power of the market. And that's why you have to continually push yourself to learn, to practice, to refine your skill, because one candle can change everything. And then consistently profitable traders only have to win about 50% of their trades, right? You'll see people out there say, "Oh, I have like an 80, 90% win rate." And there may be some people out there like that, but it's probably very few. But again, with the strategies that we talked about, minimizing your losers, if you're maximizing your winners, you don't have to win all the time. You can win 50% of the time and still be a profitable trader. The next perspective, a winning trade, day, week, month does not make you a profitable trader. It's all about consistency. And what I mean by that is, you can, like that streak that I told you about, you can have a hot streak going on. You can have a hot month, hot week, but one trade can wipe it all out. It could take it all away. I've referenced that Netflix trade that I had where I was up and just let it all go to waste. And again, that's where that market humility comes into play, to understand that that's not consistency. Consistency is doing it every single day. And that doesn't mean you're going to win every day, but I call it stacking the wood. Small profits, build them on top of each other. And eventually, when you hit those base hits, you're eventually going to come into a home run or a grand slam. But consistency is the key. It's not about these big, massive, crazy, huge trades. It's about being consistent. And then this next one, if you're going to have winning trades, you must be willing to lose, right? It's not all winners, right? You're going to have those losers. And we know, going through the psychology of that, that it's completely normal. It's okay. It's fine. It's part of the process. When you're going to be involved in trading and investing, you will lose. And if you want to have winning trades, you have to be willing to accept the losers. And if you're going to have losing trades, the flip side of that is true, is you have to be willing to accept the winners, right? Which is a lot easier. And then this last one here, if you become too exuberant or overconfident following a win, you need specific rules and a plan. And you need to get to a point where when you have a winning trade, sure, you're feeling good about it, but it's like David said at the outset. It's not you're not over celebrating. You're like, all right, I'm supposed to be here. It's Barry Sanders scoring a 70-yard amazing touchdown run, and he hands the ball to the referee. You want to get to that point where it's like, oh, great, a winner. I'm grateful for it, but I'm not overly, um, excited about it. I'm humble about it because, again, that market humility is important. And if we don't have that, we are about to get wrecked, or as David P said, eaten alive. All right. So, a few other perspectives and truths about winning in trading. Your wins are your best teachers, not just about your trading, but about yourself. And I talked about how the market and your trading is really a mirror for you for what you need to improve on. And so that's why one of the reasons why I asked you guys to analyze your beliefs around winning, because it's going to tell you something about yourself. And again, it can point to us, it can point to things to say, all right, if we are getting too excited, if we are getting overconfident, then that could tell us that that's an area that we need to work on. So remember, trading is a mirror in terms of how we react with winners and losers, and try to learn from it. What does it teach you? What is it teaching you about yourself as not just a trader and an investor, but as a person? Because that is important. And here's another one. There is no limit to the profit that you can obtain through a trading win. There's just not, right? The market can go up forever and ever. It can be irrational. Um, but the market can't keep going down forever and ever. It can go down for a period of time, but it always comes back. But in terms of winning, you just go look at some of those charts where they started from, and if you go years back, you could just see the gains that are possible in the potential. And so there's no limit to the profit that is available via the markets. And then not following your plan or sticking to your target in a trade will often result in an unfavorable outcome. And this gets into whatever your plan was in terms of your profit target. And sure, we talk about moving your profit taker if there's a lot of momentum in a trade, but you have to have the right conditions for that. And we don't want to get too greedy, meaning there are traders that I work with where they'll be up significantly on a trade. The other day I was talking to one of my students who was up over $2,300 on a trade, and they didn't lock it in. They were letting it run. And I had to remind them, like, how many people do you know make $2,300 in 30 minutes? So in the other part of that is if you don't have that target set in advance, then how do you know when to exit? But you have to stick to your plan, you have to stick to your target and know, hey, this is a really good profit. I need to lock it in. Um, you can adjust your profit target, but only if you have, and I have this in bold, overwhelming evidence. You have to have the momentum. The market needs to be ripping. There's a clear path. You don't see the volume slowing down. Only then can you move your profit target, because if you move it without that type of evidence, that's where it can reverse on you and you can end up in a bad spot. And then finally, consistently profitable traders treat their winners like they do, and this should say losers, not getting too high or getting too low. And that goes back to the Barry Sanders example that we've used a few times here tonight. You've act like that you've been there before. celebrate a little bit, but then you move on and you're getting ready for the next trade. All right. Come over here to the chat. Ouch. Yes. All right. So then that takes us to strategies that you can use to maximize and protect your win. So I want to give you some strategies that you can use here. And again, it's going to start with something that we talked about from the outset of this course, which is you have to be disciplined. You guys all now have a trading plan, and you have to follow and stick to your plan. You have to. If you don't, you're not going to generate the profits that you are intended to make, right? So have to follow that plan. And you have to have specific rules in place for when you are in a winning trade. So like locking in 50%. Let's say that it moves 50% to your profit target. You're locking in a partial profit. You're moving your stop into the money. You're trimming as it goes. And the other part of that is you have to back trade that. You have to back test it so that it's something that you have repetitions with. So when you go live in the market, it's second nature, right? So having it in your plan is one thing, but you have to practice it as well. So what you have to do for that is have a rules-based plan for locking in gains when trades work in your favor, or in other words, when the market tries to pay you, have a rule to at least take some of it. And one of the things that I emphasize with newer traders when I work with them in coaching is if you're in a trade and it bumps and you're 50% profitable right away, consider just exiting fully, lock in the profit because you need to see proof of concept. And early on when you're trading, your confidence is so important. And by locking in those gains, even if it's not that full R target, you're going to have confidence in yourself. You're going to see that, hey, this works. So if you're a beginning trader, that is something that I highly recommend to you. This goes without saying, but practice, 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 right? If you really want this, you've got to put the time in. Study and back trade your winning trades. So it's not just about going back over your losing trades, but go back and retrade, back test your winning trades. Look at what you did right and try to replicate that in the future and new trades that you're going to take. On significantly profitable trades, move your stop into the money and create an unlosable trade. So one of the things that I do, if something moves 50% into the money, I'm moving my stop loss into the money because I don't want to lose. And even if it pulls back and retraces and stops me out and I get a small winner and then it rips, I'm okay with that, right? Because it's all mathematical. Eventually you're going to catch one of those rippers. If it's just a small win that I'm stacking my wood, I'm fine with that. You have to think in terms of those probabilities. And then find ideal setups. Very extended charts near resistance or all-time highs for shorts and large drops to supports for longs. And that's just good chart reading, knowing where the resistance is when something's very far extended into that resistance. You know that, hey, that's a short opportunity, not a chance to go long, or something that's in a bullish trend that has pulled back to a support. You don't want to continue going short there. You want to look for a long in that position. So again, it's about being patient and waiting for those best setups and not just chasing, any chart that comes your way. And take only the trades that comfortably provide you with 1.2 to 2 times your risk, meaning that if the trade works in your favor and hits target, you're making 1.2 to 2 times your risk. And if there's not enough of that profit run available, then that trade is not worth taking, right? We only want to take trades that have the potential to move that strongly. And then two more here. Be grateful and don't chase beyond your plan. Again, going back to that example that I gave you. When something runs and you're up significantly, take your profit, get out, walk away. You won, you got paid, go do something else. We trade not to sit in front of the computer all day. Again, I trade from 9:30 to 11:30. And then if I have a trade open, I'll monitor it for the rest of the day. And then I'll get on at the end of the day and I'll maybe take a couple scalps. I'm not sitting in front of the computer all day trading. I have other businesses that I'm building. I have other things that I'm working on. Um, but and I love trading. I love the markets. Don't get me wrong, but I have a window that I do it because I know if I sit in front of this computer all day, I'm going to overtrade. I'm not going to follow my plan, and I'm going to lose a bunch of money. So you have to be grateful and follow your plan. My plan says 9:30 to 11:30. At the end of the day, I could do some scalps, and that's it. And some days, uh, I don't take trades. There were days in November where I really didn't take a lot of trades because I didn't have a good edge, and that's okay, right? That's you don't lose money when you're not taking trades. And then finally, after winning 1R or more, stop trading and work on developing your craft. And think of it like this. I hate to keep using athletic examples, but think of somebody who participates in a sport, a baseball game or a football game. That game is just a brief period of time. A football game is 3 hours. Baseball game is probably over that. But the preparation is where the majority of the time is spent. Think of how much time athletes spend lifting weights, doing sport-specific drills, nutrition, stretching, those types of things. They're working to be prepared for the moment when the game hits. When you're trading, it doesn't take that long to set it up and execute it. Your time needs to be spent in that preparation. So when you win, be done, walk away, and go work on your craft and get better. All right. So, the best way to learn from your wins, go back through those, back trade them, even though you know what's going to happen. And that just reinforces in your brain this is what a winning trade looks like. Utilize aggressive profit taking, even if you know the outcome of your trade, right? When you're doing the back trade. So, go back and replay it and then repeat that process over and over. And that's going to give you insight on how to best manage your winning trades. And then I have this little exercise that I'd like to challenge you guys to do. And I asked the question, what if here? Before trading every day, if you went through and retraded a winning trade, one that you've already taken that was a winner, and you simulated that process of winning, and you did that every day before you traded, do you think that would have a positive impact on your state and on your psychology when you go into trade that day? It will. So here's the challenge that I'm putting to you guys. I'm going to do the same thing. Let's take from today. Today's Thursday. I know we only have one market day left, and then we have Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll have a few days before our next class. But every day, starting tomorrow, I want you to go back through a winning trade that you took, or go pick a chart where you know it runs up and simulate a winning trade like you were in it. And then after that, you're going to do this before you take any trades. See what impact that has on your psychology and how that can benefit you. All right, so that's a little challenge that I have out there for you guys in between now and next week. All right, David says, absolutely. Yeah. So we're all going to do this, and I want to hear the results. I'm going to ask you guys about this when we come back next week. So now we've gone through the psychology of winning. We've thought deeply about winning. You know what a winning trade means to you. You've defined it. You know the emotions that you experience when you win a trade. You've thought about the emotional experience, the mindset surrounding winning trade. You spelled out your belief. You made it more empowering. And you've taken steps that many traders and investors don't do. So kudos to you for taking the time to do that, to write out these responses, because it is going to benefit you. And this is setting you up for a strong 2026. And we reached the conclusion here. So again, tonight we continued to reflect on our beliefs. This time it was about winning. We analyzed the beliefs around them, and this is all a process to help us develop that system for heading into 2026. Any questions or biggest takeaways from tonight's class? Or maybe you guys had no takeaways, which is fine. Everybody's a little quiet tonight. It's okay. Long week. Everybody's still turkeyed out from last week, from Thanksgiving. Biggest takeaways or something that stood out to you, all encouraging, opposite of a losing mindset. All right. Let me get one more before we move on here, and we'll get you guys out of here a few minutes early. Consistency. All right, Bill and Heather, thank you. David says learning to win gracefully is as important as learning to be a good loser. David, 100%. You're on it tonight, my brother. Good stuff. All right. So we have one more class left. I can't believe that this is over. I'm having a lot of fun teaching this. We will be here the 11th, which is, I believe, a Thursday of next week. So that will wrap it up. And what we're going to get into next week is we're going to be looking at your current trading routine and your trading setup. I'll give you an example trading routine, and you're going to create your own. And then basically what we're going to do while we're in the course is finalize your documents together so that I can ensure that you are all set up, you have everything put together, and then I can feel confident knowing that all right, these guys have a plan for 2026, because that's really what this course was all about, is helping you have that established for the new year. Really quickly, I do have a new course, and this is a completely free course. It's called the New Year Wealth. Rajon says, stay humble. Absolutely. Let me copy this link here. Hold on. I don't know why it's not. I'll put it in the email. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab it up here. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Let me put it here, right here. All right, let me send that. All right, so there's the link. So in January, and I just started pushing this week. I'm trying to give myself ample time to do it, but I'm going to be teaching a 4-night. This is a free class, and this is going to be pretty in depth, pretty intensive, different from any of the boot camps that I've ever done. It's January 5th through the 8th, 8:30, where I'm going to be teaching the fundamentals, the essentials of investing and also swing trading. And we're going to go deep with this. And so I'm encouraging you guys to sign up. There's going to be a lot of value here. If you have other people who you feel would benefit from this, please share this with them. But you're going to leave this class knowing how to invest, because I firmly believe it is all of our responsibilities as adults to know how to manage our finances and our money through the markets. I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to show you some of the basics to get started with swing trading. So go ahead and sign up for this. Again, share it. Again, starting early, but very excited. Tons of courses coming next year. And then I talked to you guys about, so some of you in here are part of the current blueprint, and you're going to be moving to the advanced blueprint next year. But I also have just like the blueprint this year, it's for people who are starting to trade. It's a full year mentorship with me. It's 45 total sessions. We meet weekly, starting the third week of January all the way through December. All the sessions are recorded. So if that's something that you're interested in too, I'll have the registration link for you guys if you want to sign up for that. This is a premium course. This is not a free class, but that's going to be fun as well. We've had a blast this year with that. And with that said, that's it. That's class number 4. Anything I can help you guys with? Any questions you have before we wrap up for this evening? And make sure you look outside today, because we have that super moon, which looks pretty impressive. All right. David says, already signed up. Awesome. And then David D said, thank you. I appreciate that, David. Thanks for being here. Again, it's a pleasure to teach you guys, share what I know with you. Yeah, the moon. Yeah, it's amazing. Yes, it is. And remember, hey guys, just keep this in mind. So I'm a big date and time guy, even though I lose track of what day it is. It's December 4th, 21 days until Christmas, right? don't let it catch you off guard. So make sure you're prepared. But I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for being here. I hope you guys have a great weekend, a great Friday, and I will see you next week. And I can't wait. Videos coming tomorrow. I'll send this out to you guys. Bill and Heather, you're welcome. You guys take care. You're awesome. Love you. And see you then. Take care, everyone.